we're handing them the East, but if they have to go to Neyland Stadium in November and the East is on the line, that is going to be we talk about, your argument about the environments and the most difficult place. Like Neyland Stadium in November with the East on the line might be the most difficult place to play in America this year.
If it gets a little cool as well, like we get a little weather blowing in, I mean, that place would be, I mean, just I get goosebumps thinking about it, right? And so, and even if it's a one loss, right? Even if Tennessee has already lost that one game and this could be the tiebreaker, like I'm still like pouring out a little liquor that this is the last year for East and West divisions because I'm fascinated about these conversations, right? Like I've been fascinated the last couple of years when Kentucky was close. You'd be like, I mean, Kentucky, if all of a sudden things align, well, they never would align. But late November, if Joe Milton becomes the guy. But here's the interesting part. I'd much rather, if I was Tennessee, want to have that game in week 3 or 4 because of by the time you're in week 10, 11, Staples, the depth just wins out. Like the depth, you just see it is just we're going to bring wave upon wave upon wave of 4- and 5-star guys that Tennessee still can't do because of the issues they got in with Pruitt and really how they had to overhaul this whole damn roster.
Well, and the other thing is the depth part of it, the way Georgia will play Tennessee's offense, because they'll say, go ahead and complete those passes underneath. We're just going to tackle you where you stand, and that's going to be that. You're not going to be running, your fastest receiver at one of our safeties with a 20-yard head start.
Yeah, and it's we're going to allow you, and is it death by 1,000 cuts? That's fine, right? I mean, like that's not going to kill us. And the fact that the way they played it, I mean, I thought that was such an interesting part last year where Georgia was like, we're going to punch you right in the face right off the bat, off the line of scrimmage, and if you beat us, brother, best of luck to you. You're awesome. Yeah, but nobody's beating us today. And I think that was the mentality. And that was a wake-up call for Josh Heupel's entire roster of like, oh, we're good, but we're not there good. And that probably was a great lesson for that team to know, because if they keep it close and they look like, oh, this is working, I don't know if they can understand it. I think like I go back and look at like what games did you really learn something? Like I think Texas learned a whole hell of a lot when Arkansas came up there and just bullied them a couple of years ago. Remember, like they were chanting SEC. They ran for like 600 yards, and it was out of control. I think Sark needed to see that firsthand to be like, oh, how I thought I could compete. I better really, really start beefing that offensive line and that defensive line up if I'm ready for the SEC football in 24.
Which he has, which will be very interesting when they get to Tuscaloosa in week 2. The Joe Milton thing. I'm on the bandwagon after the Orange Bowl. I'm ready. I'm committed. Where are you on this?
I'm in the Josh Heupel. Like I've gotten to the point where I look at Tennessee's offense, not because of Hendon Hooker, who was great. I don't want to ever disparage one of the greatest players we've seen going to the greatest seasons. But I look at Heupel as the way that I kind of look at Lincoln Riley and the fact of like, in Lincoln, I trust in his offense. Now, Caleb Williams is an incredible freak, but in Heupel, I trust. And the fact that the schemes will always be good. To a certain extent, how we have it with Lane as well, too. And I look at this, and maybe I'm wrong, but I look at this in the aspect of that they're always going to be good offensively. But when Lane and Ole Miss was good, it was when DJ Durkin was running that defense, and that's when they won 10 games. I feel like that's the case for Tennessee. Is like the offense is always going to score a boatload of points. Do they have the depth to be able to have a speed bump so their offense can continue to score?
Thank you so much for watching. Just a reminder, subscribe to this channel right here so you never miss an episode of Andy Staples on 3. And oh, by the way, watch all the other great videos on the On3 Sports YouTube channel.